Hello, everyone. Welcome to Deaf Mute Studio. This is the Memo by Deaf podcast. I'm joined by Garrath Gibson, and today we need to talk about Steven Seagal because it is his 69th birthday today. Way. So
I don't know if it's his 69th or if he's 70 or if he's actually 70. I don't know, but yeah,
well,
he's old.
For joke value, we'll say 69.
Yeah,
because
sounds funny.
He looks like somebody who tries to encourage that position.
Yeah.
so Gib, like for me, Steven Seagal is how do I put it?
There's not a word to like one word to describe him.
He's a special guy, Gib. There's no one quite like Steven Seagal, like actor wise, martial arts wise, and character wise.
Personality wise, yeah.
If I can put it bluntly, he is batshit crazy.
He's an absolute buffoon.
He is, and to prepare for this, because I've not seen all that many Steven Seagal films. I'm not a massive Steven Seagal fan. I watch him for comedy value, but I watched Nico. It's called Nico, and then it's called, where's my thing?
Is Nico the Hard to Kill as well? Or is that Above the Law?
That's Above the Law. It was. So it's either called Above the Law or Nico Above the Law.
Yeah, I always there was always that weird. I think there's like a weird UK. It was a bit different over here than what it was in the US, but they all kind of merge into one a little bit. Like there's Above the Law, there's Marked for Death, Out for Justice. Yeah, like I have seen all of them, and I can't tell them apart. Like
I remember Out for Justice, the second most out of Seagal's work, because I like William Forsythe, and he's the bad guy in that.
Oh, like, it's so funny though that like he's so intimidating in that film. Yeah, he just runs away from Steven Seagal. Like he's just like, how the fuck is this guy scared? And he's like, so I mean, he's an intimidating looking guy, William Forsythe, in anything that he's in, even when he's playing like a good guy. But and he just runs away from him, doesn't he? And we'll get on the running side of things maybe a bit later. But
the thing I loved about Out for Justice is I'm pretty sure it's been decades since I've last seen it, but the final fight is a typical Steven Seagal final fight with the slapping kung fu, and seeing William Forsythe do that, and he's not a toned guy. He's quite big.
Who Seagal or
well, Seagal was quite lean back, well, relatively lean, but he's not even muscly, is he? But Forsythe was he's quite rotund at the time. He's always had that big face, big build.
He's a big bulky dude, isn't he?
And to see him try and do Seagal style slap takedowns I remember thinking, this is odd. And I was about 11 when I watched it. I was like, this is just weird.
It's bad when you watch it when you're a kid and you see in holes in a 90s action movie. So I think the one out of most, so my first memories of watching Steven Seagal was with my granddad. So I used to watch a lot of like kung fu action movies with my granddad. He was really into them all, like Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, and all that. So Van Damme, that's where like my Jean-Claude Van Damme fandom came from. But I think he only had Hard to Kill. So that was the one we watched like a lot. So that's the one where William Sadler was the baddie.
Oh God, yeah.
Like he's like a mayor or something like that, and he's the one that kind of sets him up and stuff. And there's a scene in it where like these gangsters come in. He's obviously making love with his wife at that point because he's got you know, a really awkward forced like love scene in there somewhere. And then they come in and like one of them like shoots him in the chest and he just carries on and just breaks this guy's hand. It seems to actually make him stronger, which is weird. Obviously his wife gets the same but she just dies. So
she's not Steven Seagal, so yeah, clearly.
She didn't get the same memo, obviously. So that's the one that I remember. That's the one I remember the most out of them four, anyway. Sort of pre Under Siege, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like let's see. I mean, I always remember what is it, On Deadly Ground, just because of Michael Caine, and he's got that Texan top knot thing going on. That Texan
he's got
tie.
like a weird dark hair, which just looks so fucking weird on him. It looks pretty much like what Steven Seagal's hair ended up becoming, and it just looks really weird.
It does. I'm going on to Steven Seagal's hair. Watching Above the Law, I was like, he doesn't look that old in this film, but he is going bald on top. His hair's badly thinning, and I was like,
he was in his probably in his mid to late 30s, so he wasn't a spring chicken considering that was his first big movie. But yeah, his hairline suddenly just gets thicker and thicker during all of his films. It's weird. But yeah, so Nico Hard to Kill, Out for Justice. But yeah, Mark for Death, I think that one as well. I always remember that being it had a cool trailer for it, like a silhouette of him in the red, and he was doing the shooting. I think he just shot in that one. He doesn't really do a lot of his slappy stuff. He just shot people in that one. So yeah.
Oh, Keith David's in it as well, winner.
Yeah, there's been some good actors alongside him, I think. Which
he had Sharon Stone really. As his missus in Above the Law. I was like, is that Sharon Stone?
But another one for Hard to Kill as well. I always remembered because he gets after his wife gets killed, he's in a coma for 7 years, and then Kelly LeBrock's his nurse for the whole time. Good choice. And she's obviously just madly in love with him, even though he's been in a fucking coma for 7 years, because obviously he's Steven Seagal and.
He's got that aura about him when he's unconscious, and he's
can't resist, yeah. And she's even a bit where she's like, "Oh, do you want some pussy?" And then she gets a cat out, and I'm just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." But then I think she makes a comment about it. She's looks under his sheet and all that. Obviously gives him some compliments, and then I think they end up shagging at some point for it. Yeah, obviously they do.
Well, that's a case of Steven Seagal looking after Steven Seagal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he wrote that one, so yeah, I think he had a bit of clout at that point, so that's probably to have that in his contract. So, but yeah, so On Deadly Ground, he actually directed that one, didn't he? I believe.
Oh my God, did he?
Yeah.
Oh my God, says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the point where he actually was claiming that he was half Native American or something, or he's gone through a few culture changes. And I think
he has he's Native American. I'm sure he's tried to pass as Italian, and of course he was he's claimed he was to Italian,
be. Yeah, he thought he was Italian, I think, in his first few movies, because he does sort of do that bit of that. Yeah, a little bit through it, and then he went through his sort of Native American phase. Then he was a Buddhist at one point, and then he was apparently a Russian mongrel.
That's it. Yeah, I was like that. Really, Stephen?
Yeah, and claims that Putin's one of the best world leaders that's ever lived, which some videos that have not aged very well at all.
Oh God, no,
I think even Putin just didn't even know who he was and kind of wanted to get out.
Oh yeah, you sent me that video, didn't you, with with Putin sitting down with him.
And he's got the long thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think Vladimir Putin couldn't stand couldn't stand him, to be honest. Which, fuck me, that's
some going, isn't it?
You're clutching at straws there, right?
But like I always remember a time when I know I mentioned Out for Justice, and even then I was like, really? But I always like I started Steven Seagal life off thinking he was genuinely a top end action star because of Under Siege.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I was just so into like Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Van Damme and stuff. Like I never really got that same kind of, because I grew up in that sort of from that era from like 1990 to like sort of 96, 97. Like every time their films came out, it was always like a big event, and I never really got that from Seagal, and I was just like. I was never a massive. I mean, I do like Under Siege, but I was just. I don't know. I never really jumped out at me as much. But
I mean, I still like Under Siege. It's basically it's Die Hard on a boat, but
yeah,
so many good things in it. Get my pies out of the oven.
But the thing is that what makes Under Siege kind of stand out from the others is that he's not the craziest actor in that film, which is true. Best. So he was outshined by two other actors. One who likes to act very crazy and one who's just generally fucking crazy in real life as well. So Seagal kind of just floats under the radar a little bit on that film, doesn't he?
I think that's what makes it so good. It's like, we're surrounded by great actors here. And Steven Seagal.
I always just imagine like the scene with Gary Busey when he just dresses up as a woman and he shoots the sergeant and stuff. I just always feel like he was probably never asked to do that. He just turned up to set like that one day.
He turned up hungover and they were, good thinking, Gary. I was like, what?
And then there's Tommy Lee Jones, who he's been in a lot of great films, but I think he's an actor that does like to fucking go over the top when he gets a chance to, and he does in this film as well. So I think that's why Seagal's performance kind of seems quite subtle and but I had a little bit more appreciation for it when I watched it a couple of years ago, which I think was when we spoke about it, and then we spoke about doing this. So I think that's what
it's been in the works for a while. This
it's been like 2 years in the making. So and then I watched the second one. I think it was maybe about a year ago as well. I think that was on Amazon Prime.
Oh, Dark Territory.
Yeah, not as good. But again, doesn't have a couple of other great actors in it though. You're just kind of lumped with Seagal in it, and that's probably why it's quite shit.
Oh my god, Katherine Heigl's in Dark Territory.
Yeah, I think she plays his his niece or something in it. I think John C. Reilly was in it or something like that. Like someone pretty good was in it at some point.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, but
no. No. No.
I know the dude from Twin Peaks was in it. And the guy, the guy from People Under the Stairs.
Peter Green.
I think so. And he's again quite threatening, quite big in it, and you think, oh yeah, maybe Steven's met his match here. And they have about a 10-second fight, and he just slaps the shit out of him and flips him over a table or something. And that was it. That tension that was kind of building up is just fucking gone. So I just remember there's a scene in it where he's like running on top of the train. And it wasn't the fact that they probably used a stunt double because obviously they're not going to get Steven Seagal to run on top of a train. But the only reason how you can tell that it's not him is that the stunt double's actually running normally.
I did notice watching Above the Law, he has got a very peculiar run on him.
Yeah.
He runs with his wrists.
Yeah, I was
like a velociraptor.
One of my questions. I was going to say, how could you describe his run in a couple of words? yeah, there's no arm movement. It's just
It's like he's a puppet.
But there's one of them, I think it's Marked for Death, and it actually like starts with him running. So they were clearly just giving us what we were paying to see. And the way he's running through sort of like a Chinatown, but the way he's doing it, he's running like, you know, you do if you were you were going too fast down a hill and you were losing a bit of control. It's like and he's fucking jumping over people. You couldn't, you just couldn't write it.
For camp value alone, I think he's incredible. He's just, because every film he's in, it's not, the film isn't being made because he wants to tell a story. It's being made because he wants to look like the best person in the world.
He wants to tell everyone that he's an expert in everything. And I feel like it's so strange. Like I don't feel like he thinks he's lying. Like when he comes up with all this shit, like I don't feel like he doesn't. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna make up all this stuff. Like I feel like every time he does one of these roles, and he's like an ex, like special forces guy. I feel like after the shooting, he thinks that's what's happened to him. Like he's taken on those personas.
He's like the ultimate method actor, but in reverse.
But like, isn't like in Under Siege? Doesn't he? He's a special communications expert. He's an ex special forces. He knows how. He's an expert in flying helicopters. He's an expert in pulling women. Obviously, it's just he can cook.
Yes, a great cook. Best pies in the Navy. And you got to get them out the oven.
And then he's in the second one as well. Like he's just on this train as a passenger. Like he's just, like first class or something. And he just waltzes in the kitchen and just starts telling the chefs what to do. And to just make this fucking cake like they're just, like they're not already busy or something.
I'm convinced Under Siege 2 Dark Territory is a documentary. I'm convinced of it.
I think you just like when he's either wrote these roles or he has like creative control over these roles. Like I think he's writing them like as he thinks. It's just like he's writing a film about himself. But yeah, I just think in his warped mind, I don't think he actually like thinks he's wrong. Like I really do think he thinks he's a martial arts expert, and he's like a 7th degree black belt or something in Aikido. I think it's you pronounce it
something like that. It's the style where he doesn't like hit people, does he? He just uses someone's momentum to flip.
You
them.
Basically just move out the way, and you've just got to basically. It seems like a martial art that you've got to just depend on the person flipping over for you.
It's that video again, isn't it? Where you just see it,
and they go, yeah. Like I'm sure there's some sort of merit to that martial art, but like as a I don't feel like you could go on the streets and use it. And
I mean, when you see him bloated, overweight, in his 50s, doing that, it's just funny because clearly.
And it's so funny with like his more recent films, like he just doesn't actually do any of it. Like it's just all doubles. So he can't even do that anymore, which is just so funny.
I think you put me onto him actually. I think Tom Segura absolutely nailed it perfectly.
Yeah, he had a bit about something about when there was like Navy SEALs and they were going to get taught how to do hand-to-hand combat by Steven Seagal.
Oh no, it was like a local police.
Oh right, okay.
Are you fucking serious?
And I think he compared it to as if people from NASA were going to learn space-time continuum, and then they're going to bring in Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a very good comparison. Imagine that. Imagine you and then he just did that like, and then he went, and then just sat down.
I mean, he's one of them characters that he transcends his own films because he's more fascinating in his personal life than he is in the films in that way. Because it's like did you ever see that clip from when Brandon Lee died? And like he was on the news, like I'm going to help the investigation, and I'm going to find the person who did this. And you're watching it going, you're Steven Seagal. You've got no jurisdiction here. What are you going to do?
He claims that he told them to look for the bullet, and they were like, "What? But it was a fake gun. Surely there can't be a bullet." And then they call him the next day telling him how amazing he is because they went, "Oh, we found a bullet." And obviously Brandon Lee's dead though, but yeah, you're a mate. You're spot on.
You're the best of us, Stephen.
Oh fuck. And then there was the whole I don't know if you ever saw the whole debacle of like him and Jean-Claude Van Damme as well.
I'm not clued up on that at all.
Yeah, well, there was like I think there was one interview where I think it might have been the same interview. It was like some like the talk and something in like Australia, and he kept like running all these names of like, are these real life tough guys? And he just kept doing that like that. He's like, "Can I laugh in your face?" Like that, after every single one. Jean-Claude Van Damme is like, "Can I laugh in your face?" And Michael Jai White is like. And then apparently Jean-Claude Van Damme pulled him up about it at some like party in at Sylvester Stallone house. Like Sylvester Stallone's probably having this big party, and it was just full of action stars. You just imagine like Chuck Norris and Arnie walking around, Bruce Willis. That's just the way I pictured it in my mind. And apparently he scarpered quite quick when Jean-Claude Van Damme pulled him up about it. Well, I don't know if there's much truth to that. There's also a story about I think it was Out for Justice, where there was like a stunt coordinator called Gene LaBelle. I think he's quite well known with like jiu-jitsu and judo. I think he trained some UFC fighters as well. But this was obviously a lot earlier on, and I think he was claiming that it's like his martial arts, he could never tap from jiu-jitsu. And apparently this dude like choked him unconscious, and apparently he shit his pants as well. Again, I don't know if there's much like how much truth there is to that. Like that's like another kind of, it's like something he would make up, but it kind of actually happened to him. So I don't but I've just got visions of him just getting choked out and him shitting his pants. That would have been pretty funny. It seems quite far-fetched, though, to be fair. Maybe him getting choked unconscious, though, yeah.
But I don't know, like, it's like, he is far-fetched himself, innit? So it's like, you kind of got to believe it.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got to be, like, sort of, like, the perfect example of, like, the American dream, kind of just, if you just bullshit your way through stuff so much, you can be sort of semi-successful at it. And I think, like, if you believe it as much, obviously people think he's a fucking joke, which he is. But I think in his mind, he believes a lot of the stuff that he comes up with. And I guess he's made a living, I guess, like doing shit, really shit movies. But
I mean, credit to him. I mean, he's famous all around the world for being shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was doing
sort of more of his later films, like he's just kind of a bit of a laughing stock now. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, I agree. I'm going back to Tom Segura. He done this video. I think it was on his podcast, and they were going through his like latest trailer, and just going through it bit by bit and just laughing their heads off. And there's a bit where he's fighting on a rooftop, and I think you alluded to this before. And it was silhouetted, and he was only ever in the close-ups. And when it went to a wide, it was clearly someone else.
Yeah, there's some funny ones that I've kind of there's been some funny clips and some funny like I've not watched the films, I've just watched like people reacting to the films and reviewing them. So there's Sniper Special Ops, which if you see the DVD cover is that's clearly not his body. That's, you know, his head is clearly not on his body. So when you see the reality of the film, I think he walks maybe in about 2 scenes, and the whole film he's just sat down, resting his rifle on his gut, basically. And he's like, and it's so funny. He's just got like this this weird kind of. He sounds like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Like he's putting on some like accent. It's like a bit southern. It's so funny. There's like a scene where I think there's another soldier, and he's like, I don't know if he's either dying, but he looks like he's either in his last bit. Like normally in a film, like a more mobile actor would probably be like holding him or holding his head up, but he's just sat at the other side of the room talking to him, like sat on the chair still, and he's just been like, "You gonna get yourself a silver medal, man," like that. Like it just sounds so like, and I was like, have they dubbed him? Is that his accent? And yeah, it's just hilarious. And there's just so many films like that. Like it got to the point where he stopped running in films, and then it got to the point where he actually stopped walking. And there's actually scenes of like body doubles like walking up the stairs, and it's not even him.
Oh my God.
And again, you can tell it's not him because he's not waddling like he kind of does when he actually does walk. Yeah, so it's and there's just so many films like that. There's also a film called Chinese Salesman, and there's like someone on a bike, and it's just got his face superimposed onto the helmet. And and it's like a really thin dude as well on the bike. It's just it's so funny. I mean, a lot of these films are ones that he produced himself, funnily enough. So
I mean, this is what happens to someone when they haven't got someone telling them the truth. Going, I don't think you should be doing this, Stephen. He's clearly surrounded by a bunch of yes men or a bunch of I can't be asked talking to Stephen men.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of them as well, like they're kind of, I mean, they're not big budget in like a Hollywood sense, but some of them are like, you know, $6-7 million, and you're just like, where the fuck is this money? Like, it's just, but like you're watching them to think like to see him fight, and he just half of the time he just doesn't even fight in them, like, and it's just he just does. He can like sort of even muster doing this anymore, and I think he's like,
get me a Danish.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's definitely never going to be another person like him.
No, I mean, I was doing before we started. I've done a little bit of research, and I found a bit of a quiz for you as well, Gib.
Mm-hmm.
So, on according to IMDb,
yeah,
what are the 3 nicknames listed for Steven Seagal? And I guarantee you he came up with these.
Like real life nicknames?
Yeah, apparently on his IMDb, these are his official nicknames.
Oh no, I didn't look these ones up. Oh no, go on, tell me.
Right, okay. Well, one is the master of Aikido or Aikido, which
I think it's Aikido. Yeah, you pronounced it right. I think I pronounced it wrong. Yeah,
right, and which you can go. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm sure he is credited at that, and he could, you know, he is a master. Mm-hmm. You can suspend belief for that. His next one is Lord Stephen.
Oh, I think I might know the last one.
Go on.
Now you say it. Is it Sensei Stephen?
No, it's way out in the stratosphere, this one.
Okay.
The Great One.
Fucking hell.
I mean, that's the kind of, you know, do you remember that lad in school? There was always one who gave himself a nickname. who came into school one day and just went, and just like, oh, my mates who aren't in this school call me Delroy. And everyone's like, but your name's Stuart.
So you give yourself that nickname.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I mean, it says it all, doesn't it? Who calls himself the Great One?
Oh, who the fuck would have ever given that nickname? Seriously.
It's
and talking about like someone that you knew at school, like it reminds me of like when kids used to play fight on the playground. The one person that would never like, oh, you can't hurt me, even though you do all sorts, and they just carry on and like, oh, bullets don't kill me. Like I feel like this is exactly what Steve
laser field.
Yeah, like. I don't think there's ever, I mean, from what I've seen, I don't think there's actually like one film where he was ever in like a tiny bit of danger, or even like where he didn't have the upper hand over like everyone. I might be wrong, but
no, I think that's he is. I'm sure he's been quoted a few times. Like I think it was for Machete.
Right.
Where
that wasn't he?
Where he does get killed in it, but I think he was saying, I never get killed in my films because it's impossible for me to be killed.
I think he actually thinks that, like in real life.
Yeah, it's just like, and I think Robert Rodriguez had to convince him to die in the film because he said it was an honourable death.
Yeah.
In some way, I've not seen Machete in a very long time. But
I know he died in an executive decision, but I think that was actually an executive decision. I think the producers actually kicked him off the film.
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah, and like again, like I don't think no one captures him or kills him. I think he just blows up in like a heroic act or something.
Yeah, it's like I really like Executive Decision. I remember loving that as a kid, and because I always remember like because he had top billing on the poster with Kurt Russell, and then he dies like near the beginning, and you're like, oh my god, anything can happen in this film if Steven Seagal dies. But like you said, it was an executive decision to come off.
Yeah, I think he fell out, and I think he was maybe throwing too much clout, and there was other stars that were bigger and other producers, and they were just having none of it. So
I'm pretty sure John Leguizamo, he released, I think he's in his memoirs or his autobiography or whatever, he done like a proper tell-all about working with him on Executive Decision.
Yeah.
And he said he was an absolute nightmare. Apparently Steven Seagal pinned him to a wall for saying something funny.
He walked in saying, "I'm the boss, what I say goes," and I think he like sort of laughed in his face, and he said he kind of like did a Keo elbow or something to him or something like that. But yeah. Oh. So maybe, it was probably stuff like that. That's why where he got shit canned. I'm just trying to think of some other. So yeah, he had an energy drink as well out at some point. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I read that it was like back in 2006, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it called?
I did send you a picture of the can.
Yeah.
I think it's lightning bolt or something.
Let's have a look.
And it's got there was like a really awkward advert as well about it. Yeah.
Oh, he's got the panda. No, nothing says energy like a panda.
Exactly.
A notoriously slow-moving creature.
Yeah. Do you reckon? Can you just imagine like he's just got like fucking crates of it, like cans just still in his house?
That's probably why he put on so much weight and couldn't walk.
Absolutely.
Oh, I want to try that. I legitimately want to try that.
I would definitely. It would have been fitting to have a can while we were doing this. While we were doing this episode.
That would have been amazing.
I'm sure it tastes like absolute, like absolute piss, but yeah.
Oh yeah, it tastes like a big bag of testicles. I reckon, sweaty ones. that have been
Yeah, I
jogging.
don't think anyone was clamoring for any sort of Steven Seagal merch back in 2006. So, yeah.
Oh, what an absolute Fruit Loop. Oh, here's one for you, Gib. This is a true or false.
Okay.
Did Steven Seagal say the following? I am hoping that I can be known as a great writer and actor someday, rather than a sex symbol.
I would say that was true.
It is 100% true. He did say that.
Although I do think he thinks of himself as a sex symbol as well.
To be honest, like that, I don't think we can fully comprehend what Steven Seagal truly thinks of himself.
Yeah, you'd love to know, like, just behind closed doors. It's like, come on, Steve, real talk.
Yeah, is this shtick?
Yeah, is this an act? Are you playing a character? Are you playing like a WWE character? Yeah, is it just? And again, I just think it would be just. Yeah, I think it would be a hard no. I think he just actually thinks like that. Like, I think he actually thinks he's a weapons expert, and you see it in like that special ops. Like, he doesn't even know how to hold a gun. Like, like it's just so funny. Yeah, like I mean, I'd say maybe he kind of looks like he knows how to do something with a knife in Under Siege, but that could be just slick editing as well.
I mean, that knife scene in Under Siege is all out hilarious. It is completely all the editing, and it's just that. It's just done dead quick, and the ching 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 cut to Tommy Lee going ching ching ching. And
I mean, I guess he kind of maybe knows how to do a little bit of it, but yeah, I think it's a lot of slick editing from just to make him. Do you reckon he had like edit as well, like final say on edit? Because I know Jean-Claude Van Damme did with his films.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he actually Jean-Claude Van Damme actually recut. I think it was Bloodsport.
Did he?
Yeah, it was good. It was like the original cut was just like really shit, and it was going to get shit canned and just put in the vault and all that. And I think Van Damme actually re-edited the whole film, or well, probably not himself, but and that's why it ended up being the film that it is. So fair play.
Oh well, sometimes it pays off to have an ego.
I think he always had kind of a lot of final say about how his fight scenes were edited.
Oh. I mean, I could see Seagal having that kind of thing in his contract, particularly when you see his films. It's like maybe not in his contract, but maybe he just henpecked the director so much he went, "Fucking hell, Stephen, I'll give you this, but can you just shut up?" And he's like, "Yes, yes."
But like, I mean, obviously, like all of his the films of the last like 20 years, I mean, like the editing on them, oh my god, like it's just headache inducing, and it's just clearly not him either. Like, it's just
I mean, I've not known someone to have. I mean, I know Hollywood actors are severely vain and insecure. It's part of the job, but I've never known an actor to be so upfront about it and so delusional.
But it's also so unwarranted as well, though. Like, I kind of understand it a little bit more with some of the other big, some of the big action stars, especially. But with the style of like the actual style of his martial art that he's a master in anyway. Like, I mean, have you ever seen like some of his old videos from when he was like teaching, like when he was teaching Aikido in Japan? And
oh no,
there's like an old video of him and it looks really edited as well, even from back in the 70s. And it's just literally just basically all the people running at him and he's just flinging them out the way. It just looks like a metalcore gig or something. And he's just basically just kind of like tapping their arm and they're flipping over, and it's just, but you're like, that just, you just wouldn't, you know what I mean? There's no way that would work in any. I can't think of any situation where that would actually help you.
I mean, like take Tom Cruise for example. He's very hands-on. He's pretty much the second director of every film he's done, but he knows what makes a good film. He knows what a big Hollywood action film is. He knows what people want, basically.
Yeah,
And that always works. But with Seagal, it's not it's never about the film, is it? It's always about him.
Exactly. And I mean, a lot of his films, like his more recent ones as well, they're mainly just filled with other action stars that do all the work, and he basically just sits there most of the time, and people just talk about how amazing he is, and like women still like take the clothes off in front of him, and he never takes his clothes off, and then they have these really awkward, awful sex scenes, which I just really sympathize for the actresses. Like, oh, just like all I can think is just like I went to film school for 3 years for this.
No, it's like in some ways you're like, God, what an arsehole, but in others you're just like, you know what, mate? Good on you. You've worked hard to create this fantasy, and it's paid off.
He's basically just created his own kind of universe around himself. I just don't know how he's pulled it off. Like how it's. I mean, I guess everyone still sees him as a joke, but he doesn't.
Well, it's legitimately incredible what he's done. He's a joke, but I think it's safe to assume he's a millionaire. He could have lost it all and then trying to get it back, but he is rich. He's got a great lifestyle. He's gone over to Japan. I believe he has the first dojo, I think it is, in Japan by a Westerner. I think that's a fact.
Yeah, again, but then apparently the stories as well that it was actually his wife's family that ran that dojo, and he just claimed that so this is
that makes sense. Yeah,
there's just holes to every single accomplishment that he's ever had, and for him to sort of belittle other action stars for not being tough guys, it's kind of funny, like, you know. Like Mike White wouldn't beat like a UFC fighter or anything, but I can imagine he'd probably fuck the normal person up in a fight.
100%, yeah. But I just can't help but like think, good on you, Stephen. You do you, mate. You know what I mean?
But that's what he really does. He really just does himself. But what kind of where he sparked my attention again, sort of, I'd not thought about him for years, was when maybe like 2010, 2011, where he started like taking credit for UFC fighters doing certain moves. So he basically claimed that he taught Anderson Silva how to do the front kick, that he front kicked someone in the face and won a fight, which was like a really big thing at the time. And he just kind of like claimed that he taught Anderson how to do that, like kind of like he invented the front kick, which is kind of funny because of the image that I showed you. There's only one evidence of him actually ever doing a kick, and I don't think it would even hit you above the knee. And he basically said he claimed that he perfected it over the last 20 years. But my very, very limited experience of doing any sort of martial arts, like I did some Muay Thai classes, and I think after like my second lesson, they were showing you how to do a front kick. I find it hard to believe that Anderson Silva didn't know how to do a front kick before, his 27th fight or something. But he basically said he just did exactly what I told him to do, and that was it.
To his credit, Gib, it's very brave and noble to take credit for a trained killing machine. I could never say, I can never go, Paddy the Baddy, taught him everything he knows. I haven't got the gravitas to pull that off. Even Seagal does.
And I think Anderson Silva kind of was just, I think just humoured it because he was just out of politeness. Like I think he even called him Sensei Stephen at some point. He probably went to his gym like once and just showed him how to do some slappy hand thing, and then probably got really winded and just sat down. And Anderson was just like, "Great, I'll probably use that at some point. Maybe not, but
I'll use that.
Yeah, he probably just
pies out the oven.
Yeah, he might have just been a big Under Siege fan and just thought, this is pretty cool."
Oh, I love him, Gib. The more we're talking about him, the more I love Steven Seagal. He's on another planet, and I for one would like to go to that planet and just have a walk around.
It'd be a very lonely planet. I think it'd just be him.
It'd just be him groping loads of sexy women.
Yeah, firing loads of weapons that he knows how to handle, and flying helicopters that he's an expert in.
Giving TED Talks.
Giving TED Talks to
on tech.
Yeah. Giving TED Talks to himself.
Yes, on how to be a better Steven Seagal. and there'll be loads of other Steven Seagals there going, I don't have to listen to this, I'm Steven Seagal.
That other video I sent you, the Rob Schneider one, that one was pretty funny as well.
Oh my God.
But he was just, I think did he rewrite a script or something?
What was it? One of Schneider's mates were meeting Seagal in his trailer and he was waiting for like 40 minutes. And then Seagal pops out and like, I've just read the greatest script I've ever read. The guy goes, who wrote it? I did. I mean, this is what I mean. No one else has the audacity to read their own script and go, this is amazing, I need to tell someone about this.
And again, the thought process of I don't think it's not premeditated. Like, I just think it's exactly what he believes. It's just exactly, it's exactly what he thinks. I mean, I don't know, has he actually ever wrote a book? Has he got an autobiography? That's something I never really looked up.
Oh, jeez, God, I hope so. I
feel like that you would have to probably put that in the fantasy section. Like, it's just
I would. He's got a book, Gib.
He's got a book.
Guess what it's called?
Oh God, go on, hit me.
The Way of the Shadow Wolves. Released in 2017. I'm buying it. Oh my God. It's not an autobiography, it's an actual book.
Oh, right, okay.
Can you imagine how amazing that's going to be? The protagonist is bound to be called Steven Seagal.
You reckon it's the character's still him though, and it's based
100%. If it's not, I'd be very disappointed.
Then you open it at the end and it says this is an autobiography. This actually happened.
This fantasy novel was based on true events that actually happened.
Like Ben Stiller in Dodgeball when he's got the painting behind him. He's like taking bull by the horns, but that actually happened. I feel like that's what that book would be.
Do you think White Goodman is actually based on Steven Seagal?
Oh, 100%. Now you say that, yeah.
Because
he does have a few Steven Seagal isms in it, actually, mannerisms. I'm going to watch that again.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah. I would love it actually if that was if we found out that was true. Ben Stiller kind of modeled it, right? You know what I mean? Like modeled his performance around it. Yeah. But I feel like his autobiography would probably have more fantasy than like every Harry Potter book combined.
Yeah, for The Way of the Shadow Wolves, would you like to hear a couple of reviews?
Oh, absolutely.
Vulture, I don't know, but apparently it's probably a magazine, called it completely batshit insane. The character Goad, who is alternately described as being Mohawk and Apache, being a clear Steven Seagal avatar. Another, the Phoenix New Times called it garbage. Breathtakingly bad. Even more boring. Oh, sorry. The fight scenes were even more boring than the dialogue. I need to read this book.
Yes. Could you imagine? Could you imagine an audiobook of Steven Seagal just wincing and just mumbling his way through it and getting out of breath after each chapter?
Oh,
You probably have to narrate a sentence every day, each day.
Oh my God. I want that to happen. It needs to happen.
Yeah. So this is another a funny fact that I had today. I don't know how much truth was in it as well, but there was at one point there was actually rumors that he was quite close to playing Batman, in Tim Burton's Batman.
Oh my God.
That's how what a rising star he was at that point. But could you imagine?
Oh, I want to see it. I know Michael Keaton's coming back in the Flash film.
Mm.
If I could turn back time via Cher, I would say we don't want Michael Keaton for this. We want Steven Seagal.
But could you imagine him being Bruce Wayne and being in a black tracksuit with a ponytail, and then he transforms into Batman, and he just looks exactly the same, and everyone's supposed to be shocked that he's Batman, and he's
got a hole at the back of the cowl for his ponytail.
But you could just see his whole face still in the center.
Facial hair.
Yeah, I don't know how much truth is to that, but there was just a video today that popped up and said that as he was quite a big rising star at that point, I don't know how close that was. I couldn't imagine Steven Seagal being Tim Burton's bag at all. Maybe it was when some other director was attached to it. I don't know.
Gib, my honest opinion here, we've been robbed of this. We have been absolutely robbed.
I'm shocked that he hasn't tried to make some sort of a rip off or something where he is actually Batman, but maybe just switch the name around or something the only thing he actually hasn't done is play a superhero.
Technically he has. He is a superhero in real life. To me. his power is bullshitting. And he's the greatest superhero of all time.
And there's another thing as well. So in some of his more recent films, there's one film where they actually changed the aspect ratio to make his face look more fit. And then it just cuts to the real actor, and that's a normal aspect ratio, and it just and there's a scene where he's in a strip club and you can see the strippers behind him and they're just all super squashed. And some other little trickery as well, some other little fuckery that he used to do so he basically used to the scene used to just get lit, but the light was just on his face, and then kind of the rest of it was very, very dark. Again, I think just to take a highlight off his neck and his, yeah. I mean, eventually now he just went wearing scarves and big.
Just wear a lot of scarves, doesn't he? Gib, to be honest, mate, I'm after this. I've got a strong feeling, and I am going to be heavily influenced by Steven Seagal in every aspect of my life. I'm going to wear scarves. I'm not going to lose any weight. Fuck that. I'm going to hire someone to walk to work for me. And I'm going to proclaim myself as master of takeaways.
You just need the bandana, or maybe just black this out.
Yeah, I'm gonna grow this out. Shave all this, grow this out, get a quite thick bandana, scarf, and then talk to people really calmly. And you know what, Gib? I'm not being big-headed here. It's just a fact. But I taught you everything you know about illustration.
Yeah, I'm as well. I'm sure
You're
you're
welcome.
a master of martial arts, and if I ever went near you and you touched my arm, I would flip over.
Oh, 100%. It's not even a joke. Welcome to my world.
You go like that, and I would just go flying through the wall. It's science.
Exactly. And the next celebrity that dies, Gib, I will investigate it. I will solve that case.
Yeah, you'll find the bullet that no one guessed would have been there.
Exactly. The next celebrity who gets shot, I will say, listen, there's a bullet somewhere in that body. And they'll be like, holy shit, really? I'll be like, yeah, of course it is.
But what makes me laugh about that as well, he's basically claiming that no one saw an exit wound or anything like that in Brandon Lee, or like any sort of hole. Like, so the bullet was just in there. No one knew what was wrong with him. Like, he's just fallen over. Like,
I mean, Gibbs, as a deity myself, I can understand that mere mortals couldn't pick up this stuff. It's up to the likes of me and Steven Seagal to point it out.
I like, after sort of like an hour of us talking about him, you've taken on the spirit, the persona.
You know, it's a gift and a curse. I mean, I'm the one who has to handle all this immense power. I mean, everyone else should feel lucky that they're blessed with such simple lives. Whereas
you have to take on all this weight now.
Not only do I have to take on the weight of the world, but I also have to take on my own body weight, and that's a massive strain, Gib.
It's definitely a strain on him. Oh, as I say, he doesn't even walk in his movies anymore. Like, it's just,
oh, Gib, it's not even a joke for me anymore. I genuinely love the man. He's.
I would say I'm fascinated by him.
He's the best of all of us.
Very ironically, but I'm just trying to think if there was any other. And then obviously we've not talked about his reality show that he had.
Yes, which I haven't seen. Which obviously I haven't because I don't need to, because I'm a deity. I already know what you're going to say. It's amazing.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, so basically he claimed that he had already been a cop, flying under the radar for the last 20 years. And I think this was like in 2009 or something. Like, no one would have ever, like, it was, no one would have ever caught him or took a picture of him, like, being on, walking around as a cop. Yeah. So they did a reality show about it, which he basically just did what he does in his films. He just sat there and watched everyone else do all the stuff.
Oh, was it called Lawman?
Lawman, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my.
And there was, again, just a lot of people basically just, whether they were paid to or not, they were just kissing his ass basically.
Oh.
But he was just teaching people how to do stuff, and then they just didn't do it, and then he just kind of blamed them for not knowing how to do it.
As you do.
Yeah, but in more meaning that, like, he just didn't know how to do it. Yeah, so, but like, as if no one would have ever. I mean, it would be the only time that you'd have ever got arrested and wanted to take a selfie and put it on Facebook. Like, I mean, imagine if you got arrested by Steven Seagal, you'd have been like, "I'm just take a picture." I know I'm probably going to go behind bars for this, but
as it's you, Stephen, there's a pound of cocaine and a couple of unlicensed firearms in the back. Take me in.
Yeah, I think it only ran for about 2 seasons or something like that. But
wow, we got 2 seasons out of it. That's
maybe I might be giving a bit too much credit there. It might have been just the one.
I mean, that must have been like what's that reality TV show that like loads of people like, Desperate Housewives? where it's just car crash television.
Yeah.
Or like Love Island, like, you know, you watch it just for the shame of it. It must have been like in that kind of bracket. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
it was
God.
like on, I think it's like the American channel, like A&E or something. It was just like, yeah, it had all those type of, just those type of reality shitty shows.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the budget for it would have been very big. But yeah, basically, like from the clips I've seen of it, he just sits in the car and just watches real cops actually do the jobs, and just kind of comes and then just swoops in at the end and just takes credit for it.
I mean, it's like, what else hasn't he done? he is a true American hero, although he's not. I know he's rusky now, but my God, he has lived a life. What a journey!
He's lived a life, definitely.
I mean, he's got like 7 kids as well. I mean,
and his actual kids don't even want to associate with him, like, and he's famous. Like, what celebrity kid? Do you imagine one of his sons trying to get into a club and like, yeah, you can get in, you can jump the queue if you want. You're Steven Seagal's son. He's like, no, I'll queue.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'll just stand at the back and queue with everyone else.
Oh my God!
I mean, that's pretty bad. Yeah, I think he's had like 3 wives as well, including Kelly LeBrock, which fair play.
Yeah, I mean, again, Gib, these are all facts that make me think, what a legend, what a man. I can't knock him. He's just. Just what a life, what a man, what a person, he is a deity. I don't care what you say. He is. I could get in a bit of trouble for this, Gib, so take it with a pinch of salt. He is the second coming of Christ. No one's realised it. This is what Christ would be like if he came back.
I'm shocked that he hasn't claimed that he actually is Christ, and that he resurrected himself, But so I've got one question for you. So his hair.
Oh yes, magnificent.
What do you think we're working with his hair? Do you think it's plugs? Do you think it's a wig? Do you think it's?
I think he's tried everything. I think he's definitely like put shoe polish or something like that on it earlier in his career.
It looks like a chopper. Is it Keith George? He's just slipping back.
But then when technology advanced and hair plugs came in, he was like, I'm getting some of that. And he's definitely got the hair plugs. And I think he's had, like, how some girls go out with like a weave or extensions.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely tried that.
Yeah, but it's just the jet black. Like, it's not how hair works.
Oh no, there's no tones to it. There's no you'd be like, fair play, Stephen. If he'd look cool if he had like wingtips like Paulie from Sopranos, or just or a single streak of grey like Rogue from the X-Men. Yeah. He'd look proper banging with that. But no, it's just constantly jet black.
I would just like to see him just like, nothing here, just full on Hulk Hogan, just all the way down, Could still wear his bandana, still have it down, do you know what I mean? It's pretty much what Hulk Hogan does.
I mean, I always wanted them to go like full Axl Rose and get like not dreadlocks, but kind of like braids. Remember when Axl Rose went through that phase of bandana and braids? Yeah. I kind of wanted them to do that because it's Steven Seagal. He can get away with it.
I'm kind of shocked that he didn't, to be honest, in some of his films when he kind of sort of decides to go a little bit ghetto in some films. When he was I think he was in the film with DMX, was it Exit Wounds?
Exit Wounds, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of sort of talking quite a bit of like he wants to be a rapper, basically.
Oh, he had something very similar in Above the Law. He knocked some guy out, and there's this group of black fellas like on the street being like, I guess, like typical stereotype of thugs. I'm like, hey man, why you hit my friend? That was awful. I could get cancelled for that.
Just edit
I'm not an impressionist. I'm so sorry. But yeah, like, why are you picking on him? And he kind of done this like, hey, chill, brother. Hey, chill, homie. And you're like,
yeah, he totally seems like someone who would just talk like the people he's surrounded by in really awful accents. But yeah, in Special Ops, like I said, is it also Sniper or whatever it was called? Yeah, he does actually. He kind of sounds like Robert Downey Jr. basically when he's playing, when he's playing his character in Tropic Thunder.
that film.
But really awful. Like he's doing it in a really, really awful way. But yeah. I don't think there's any other.
Well, I'll put it to you, Gib. So, like, what is your? We kind of touched on it, but what's your all-time favorite Steven Seagal film? Tippity Top. I've never said Tippity Top before in my life.
Tippity Top.
I quite like it.
I mean, this is kind of asking like, what was the best shit you've had this week, basically. So
I've got a list of that too.
Yeah. Are they quite memorable?
They are. Bang.
Unlike a lot of these films. Probably. Yeah, I'd probably just say Hard to Kill, just from the whole just because I kind of watched that. I had some quite fond memories of watching a lot of those type of films with my granddad. I even thought it was quite ridiculous back in the day, and thought it was quite funny. He does have a funny line in it, because I think like the William Sadler character, as like his catchphrase is like, "You can take that to the bank," because he's he's like a politician, and then I think he came out with saying something like, "I'm going to take you to the bank, the blood bank." And I remember even when I was a kid, I thought that was piss funny. I'm
A positive about that.
Yes.
I should write for Steven Seagal.
Well, I mean, you kind of semi are him now, so I mean, I guess this is why these quips are just going to keep flowing out, so. I'd probably say that one, but by all means, I'm not saying that's a good film. And yeah, I mean, obviously, probably after that, I'd say Under Siege. But again, that's totally not for Steven Seagal. That's just for the amazing, always watchable Gary Busey.
Oh yes. So
well, I would watch in absolutely anything.
Oh, he is a gift from Steven Seagal himself.
I feel like we could probably do another podcast at some point just about Gary Busey.
Oh, I am game for that all day long.
Although you'd see more me, I'd be a bit more complimentary.
Oh mate, I'm all for waxing lyrical about fantastic actors. Thus, why we're doing this podcast on Steven Seagal, because he's amazing. So it's
oh, your new icon.
And honestly, I'm going to get a tattoo of my own face on my chest and just have Steven Seagal written under it.
Do you think maybe he's done that already to himself?
God, I hope, like the way Danny Trejo has that tattoo of the woman on his chest that looks like Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
I want Steven Seagal to have that of Steven Seagal with tits. And have underneath it the perfect woman. In fact, no, I'm having that.
You like you claiming that one?
Yeah.
How about yourself though? So maybe top 3 Seagal films in order.
Oh damn, you've got me. There's so many to choose from. I'm spoiled for choice.
I was struggling to pick 2.
Oh well,
I'm only giving you 2. I'm struggling for 3, so I'm throwing you under the bus here.
I mean, like I have got mad love for Under Siege. Like I completely agree with what you said. On a serious note, it's more about the support cast. But I've got a big emotional tie to that film because my stepdad Kenny, I came down and he was watching it and he was cackling. I was like, "What are you watching?" I don't know why. I don't know why I was a little girl when I was a kid, but that, you know. Yeah, but yeah,
this was before you learned all, you know, the martial arts and the you know.
Well, yeah, this is before the martial arts, the me being a deity, and of course the sex change. So yeah, so I come down and like, "What are you watching?" And he's like, "Oh, you got to see this. You got to see this bit." And he's one of my favorite actors on the down low. Cole Meany. He's an Irish actor. He's in Con Air.
Oh yeah. He flies so under the radar in that film because he's actually a very I don't know how to describe it. He's a good actor.
Mate, honestly, I've never seen him like give a bad performance. He's always spot on, but he's got hands down the best line in Under Siege, and it's where they've trapped the crew at the front of the ship, and it's Gary Busey. He puts the sprinklers on the crew, and Gary Busey goes to him, "The crew never really liked me anyway," and Cole Meany with just the perfect comic time and goes, "Well, I bet they fucking love you now," and it sets me off every time.
I think I remember that now. Yeah.
Oh, it's the best line in the film. So like, Under Siege for me is my favorite one.
Yeah.
I've got to say,
I've got a lot more appreciation for it, like watching it when I watched it a couple of years ago, and that's when we had the discussion about like we could probably do a whole episode on Steven Seagal one day. But I'm glad that we've waited because I feel like there's probably even more stuff that we've that's happened over the past couple of years, because he's just, like we've said before, he's the gift that keeps on giving.
He is. He's a true gentleman for fans. God, I love him. So yeah, Under Siege, I'd have to go. God, I really am spoiled for choice, kid. Out for Justice, because again, it always takes me back to when I'm a kid, and
it's got William Forsythe in it as well.
It's always good, and
always dependable.
And right, I'm gonna have to go for On Deadly Ground. It's like we said, it's got Michael Caine in. But
there's like one scene where he's just got like all this weird shit on his face as well, and I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know if it's parts of his fucking hair dye coming off, or it's just so weird.
Do you remember the Family Guy skit on Steven Seagal? It was like one of the really early episodes of Family Guy, and Peter's watching the TV. He's like, "I'm just watching Steven Seagal's new film," and it's a close-up of him. "You bastards came into my land, eating all the food. I'm going to send you back to hell where you came from." And then it pans out, and it's a bunch of seals.
And he's like, "Yeah, lock and load."
Yeah.
You know the
pain. It's Joe watching it, innit? Yeah.
But he is kind of just chopping these seals away.
And that always reminds me of On Deadly Ground, because On Deadly Ground, it's a very anti-oil.
He started. This is when he started forcing all his political and just all his agendas into films, and I think that's when people got really turned off by him. I think, to be honest.
I mean, I can't stand that. It's like, you can have a hint of political messaging in a film, but not when it's on the nose and it's shouting at you. But seeing as it's coming from Jesus reincarnated himself, it's acceptable. It's something that we all needed to pay attention to at the time, and
I'm sure all the issues to do with oil and things like that got fixed right away when that film came out.
I mean, if you look at it now, Gib, it came out in 1994, and it's still very much applicable to nowadays. So you could say that Steven Seagal was ahead of his time, a pioneer.
He probably saw into the future. I'll make this film.
He did. He's What a man. What a man, Gib. What a man.
But yeah, I think that's I think that.
I think we've covered our Lord and Savior enough to spread the gospel to more people. If anyone's watching this by any chance, please get involved with anything Steven Seagal, because not only will he save your life, he'll save your soul. That's a Steven Seagal guarantee.
Yeah, is that the stamp of approval? The SS approval. Yeah,
how dare you, Gib?
Don't
How dare you? He'll be knocking down your door in a minute. What did you say to me, you piece of shit?
Oh, he might. He might chop me into my glass cabinet.
Yeah.
When I'm standing 2 meters away from him.
You know that Aikido.
Yeah.
It's not very effective, is it? Because it requires the person to come at you.
It requires the person to fall down and pretend that you're. You're actually, yeah.
You kind of need someone to play along with you. It doesn't work in a street fight, does it?
Exactly. I just couldn't imagine someone being trained by Sensei Seagal, obviously, and training this stuff, and then you think, in a bar and someone starts at him and he's like, right, I'm going to have to defend myself here, and then when he tries to pull this person down and they don't flip over,
Do you think? Right?
I feel like there's a lot of people that have probably been killed just tried to practice this form of martial art.
Do you think? Right? He was before he made it big, before he became a sensei.
Yeah.
He was really into the Manchester party scene, and he went to the hacienda and he just took a load of drugs, just started doing that, and someone went, "Oh, lad, that would make it a boss fighting style because you can't see your hands." And he was like, "It is a fighting style." And it just went from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, what was the? It was really big in sort of like I think it was big in the 70s, like Wigan Pier or something. Like they used to do like the dancing at like Wigan Pier or something like that. Northern Soul.
Yes.
That was like based on apparently on Bruce Lee karate moves or something, like the dancing for it.
What was it?
So maybe that's what maybe the 90s rave culture just came from doing Aikido.
Next time we're out, Gib, and we get real drunk, we're doing a Aikido dance.
Yeah.
And what we're gonna do is it's gonna be like a better version of the tango. So we'll be dance partners, of course, and we'll just do that, and then we'll like meet in the middle, and then like you do that, and I'll counter it with another one of that, and then I'll just throw myself on the floor, and then everyone in the club will stop, form a circle around us, and start clapping us on, cheering us as dance champions of the world. And we'll be like,
and then there'll just be people just coming at us, and we'll just
and we'll just Aikido the fuck out of them.
Yeah, just waft them away, and they'll just fly. Flip through tables.
And of course, I'll get too tired of standing, so I'll sit on a chair, and then people come at me while I'm on the chair. Not just Aikido on while I'm on the chair.
Yeah, I feel like this is just going to be the way now. It's just the way of the Seagal.
It is the way of the Seagal. TM.
I just hope that no one ever starts on us, and we'd have to actually really try and use any of those.
Oh mate, I'm going to go out tonight and start a fight. I reckon I can do it. with these killer mittens.
It's just so funny. I mean, I don't think in one of his films he ever puts his hips into any sort of like any forceful.
He's all out. It's like how he runs, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all.
There's no, I don't know where the weight's coming from. Like, how's this? Oh,
Oh,
you
right,
know,
Gib. We'll conclude it there because I'm on the brink of madness here. I need some sugar.
I've been researching this dude for like 2 days, so I need a break.
Yeah, we need to decompress, or for me anyway, I need to watch more Steven Seagal.
I feel like I need to watch a film with any other actor in for the next year now, just to cleanse.
Cool. I'll send you an email about designing me chest tattoo with my face and a woman with big tits.
Yeah, surely you're gonna tattoo it on yourself though.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're
an expert. You're a master.
I'm a master tattoo artist. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I figured you'd be an ink master by now. So
yeah, I mean, there's quite a few tattoo parlors in Liverpool, and I taught them all how to do it.
Yeah, did they do exactly what you told them?
No, that's why they're shit.
But this was just the funny part with like these UFC fights. So there was Anderson Silva and there's Lyoto Machida, who was like a karate kind of style guy, or karate as Steven Seagal has to use the proper. But he's like, it's like karate, like, and he sounds, and it's sounds like he gets out of breath just using that pronunciation. But he just every time someone asked him like, so what did you think of the finish? And he just did exactly what I told him to do. And he just said that every time. Oh, and I could imagine what the coaches, like those fighters must be thinking. They're just,
who the fuck is that guy?
Exactly.
See, Gib, I'm with it. I know a few MMA quotes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got that reference.
See. All right, mate. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm a little bit disappointed that you weren't waxing lyrical about them with me, but I respect your opinion. I respect your stance. Not all of us can see the true form of JC.
I just don't think the spirit or the like the way of the Seagal he obviously didn't choose me. So
some of us just aren't blessed, Gib. It's unfortunate, but like we said before, not everyone can shoulder that tremendous burden.
I didn't drink enough lightning bolt back in 2006. Obviously.
Oh, pandas. Right, Gib. Thanks again, mate, and we'll do this again soon on whatever subject we got going.
Thank you for having me.
All right, mate. Adios.
Take care. Bye.